Charlamagne the God probably did not expect that Donald Trump was going to like spend the middle of the night tweeting about him or whatever, but he did. And so Charlamagne is going to respond to it on his show that happened earlier today. Take a look.
Now, the personal insults, I don't care. He called me a sleazebag. I looked up the definition of sleazebag. Says it's a disgusting or despicable person. Depending on who you ask, that may apply to me. Okay, I personally prefer friendly neighborhood a-hole. Okay. He said I'm a low IQ individual. I don't know. I've never taken an IQ test. He said I have no idea what words are coming out of my mouth. Absolutely true. Okay, I've been surprising myself my whole life. Like, damn, I actually said that. Now let's get to your claims. He said I don't know anything about him ending 5 wars. Mr. President, nobody knew that because it's not true. My fellow Americans, we are in a strange time right now, a time we have never seen because authoritarian strategy is being used against anyone who speaks out against this administration. We saw what happened Friday. President Trump orders, the firing of labor statistic chief after data shows unemployment rates are higher. I don't know if you know President Trump, but by firing this woman, you added to the unemployment rate. But that, along with his reaction to what I said on Lara Trump, shows how authoritarians will attempt to bully people into pushing false narratives. President Trump, do you realize the best way to get the headlines you want is to simply do a good job?
I just want to take credit. I made that same joke on Friday in the Young Turks. But anyway, no, he's totally right. I love all those points and the self-deprecating way that see, because Charlamagne, for all of his faults, and he has faults or whatever, like he can actually joke about himself. Donald Trump doesn't understand that. That's why comedy isn't legal under Donald Trump. He hates criticism. He hates facts that reflect poorly on him. He can't take responsibility for any of the mistakes that he makes. And we'll talk later in the show more about the firing of the stats person. But that's like a watershed moment for realizing that this guy is in an all-out war on reality, what we might call an info war. These people do not want you to have access to correct, accurate information, and they will fire everyone if that's what it takes to keep you in the dark. So good response from Charlamagne. I like to see it. JR, what do you think? Oh no, you silenced yourself.
I mean, maybe you silenced me, John. Yeah, I mean, I assume people have their issues with Charlamagne, and everyone does. He even pointed out how he could potentially have issues with himself and the things that he says. But when you say something that makes sense, you say something that makes sense, and you can honestly see how the guy who's targeted from this basic truths, like Charlamagne doesn't even miss that. It's basic truths about what it is this guy is, and man, it hits him in his little dark heart, and he can't take it. The pinprick of the size of his heart, he got to it, and this guy has to respond with all kinds of wild claims and flailing himself. What a child this guy is. Idiot.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, people at Woozle says classic JR mute. Yeah, it's not Monday if JR doesn't mute himself at least
John,
once.
I muted myself for about a solid 7 minutes when I was doing my solo thing like last week. It was a disaster.
No.